Hello and welcome to Immortal Behaviour for this week.
Many ways to win a game. Get your team home as a halfback. He won the game with his kicking game.
Andrew kicks back and across. It has been a freakish kick by Andrew John.
I thought he'd maybe retire, but forgive me, Father, for I have said.
Maybe God has come to Marathon.
Hello and welcome to Immortal Behaviour. Zach Bailey stepping in for Danica Mason yet again. Andrew Johns joins me.
She's not working much, Danica, is she?
No, I've been told this week it's a dental procedure.
Oh.
That's all.
So that's the go-to. Dental, or I think I've got COVID. Because once you say that, you're sweet. I might use that next week. I think I've got COVID.
It's
and
good.
A dental appointment.
It's good to have you here, all the viewers tuning in. Our last Immortal Behaviour before Origin 1.
Yes.
So Christmas comes next Wednesday night, so we're really excited about that. Obviously, plenty of change in the Michael Maguire era already. 6 Blues debutants. Are you excited by what they might bring?
Yeah, I think so. It's a whole new era, especially in the key positions. Obviously, the fullback one with Tedesco and Dylan Edwards. It's a big one. But I'm excited about 2 players in particular. Ola Kawatu, I'm excited to watch him play. And Spencer Leniu. Spencer is a bit of a throwback. And there's no filters with Spencer. He says what he thinks, and he's come out and said he's going to rip and tear, hasn't he? So I look forward to those 2. But yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, the Blues bench, obviously plenty of power there. I heard Zach Lomax speaking earlier this week, and he said that he just literally broke down, couldn't control his emotions. Is that how much it means to a player? Like, is it every phone call you've ever dreamt of? Yeah,
it is. And it's funny in this country, in this code, that the highest achievement is not playing for your country, it's playing for your state. And to get the call that you're going to represent your state, it's hard to put into words. And, you know, the emotions, as Zach said, he burst into tears. I think the majority of players are the same. The emotions are incredible.
Do you remember how you reacted when you got it?
I don't.
Did you get it? Was it a pager or a fax?
I don't.
You're not that old.
I think then you didn't get a phone call. I think it was like a live announcement.
Halftime of the Sunday
Something
Arvo game.
Like that, yeah. So you're sitting at home and you're waiting, and then your name comes out. But mine was in '95 when the Super League War. So I got my shot before I wasn't ready. Well, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't ready. It's a humbling experience when you're out in the middle and you think you're ready, and deep down you're like, "What is this game?
Well,
I haven't experienced this before."
Well, just on that, like we all speak about big game. Well, we always hear big game experience and how vital that is leading to an Origin, especially for the debutants. So Spencer Leniu, who's played the last 3 grand finals, and you've got Dylan Edwards, who's played the last 4. They've won a couple each. Dylan Edwards, Clive Churchill medalist, has debuted for Australia first. Does that grand final experience and big finals match experience compare at all to the Origin arena?
Maybe the build-up to handle the week. Well, at the Origin, it's a week build-up, and there's a lot of hype, and there's journalists there, and everywhere you go, people are talking about it. So it's similar in some ways, but it is a total different monster. It is a total different monster, and you get sort of. So you're in camp on Monday, and you're sort of, your head's in the clouds, and then. I don't know where they break camp, but when you get back into camp Sunday night and you put your head on your pillow, then you're like, holy shit, I'm playing in a couple of nights. I haven't really thought about how I'm going to play. And there's that fear. There's that unknown fear of, am I good enough? And am I up to this level? And if you put it club footy, and then you got grand finals, but Origin is about 20% more intense than the grand final. And there's stats to back that up. I heard some stat about, the Moneyball stats about metres per minute or intensity, where it actually is 20% higher than club games or semi-finals or grand finals. It is just a total different monster because there's limited penalties. You're playing against the very best of the best, so there's limited errors. Defensively, the best players are the smartest players, and they work hardest. They're the fittest players, so they don't bludge defensively. There's no real chinks. It is just the intensity, and then the intensity. Sometimes the game doesn't open up till the last 15 minutes. So it's just battle of attrition.
And is that monster, like the physical beast of it, magnified by the emotional aspect to it as well?
100%.
Like whether it's the first game or what's on the line or the crowd.
Yeah. Everything. Organising tickets for family and friends, And then you're getting calls off everyone about how excited they are. And, when we're in camp in Coogee, everywhere you went, people would be all over you, and want to be talking about it, which was great. But then it just adds to the atmosphere and adds to the build-up and adds to the pressure. And once again, you think you're ready, but until that blowtorch is waved on your belly and you go into this deep, dark place and you're like, what is this game? And some excel and some crumble. And you can't judge who's going to do that and who's going to succeed and who's going to crumble until you're out there. So I wish all the debutants the best, and I think they'll all come through.
If you had a minute with them, the 6 new fellas, what would you say to them about that?
It depends what position. Forwards get an early touch. Pretty much everyone, concentrate on your defence. Get your defence right, get your timing and defence right, and everything comes from that. When you're getting in position, in attack or even defence, get there quick, because you've got to get there quick. You cannot get there slow and do your thinking on the run, because that's when you make errors. And because it's quicker, you've got to do everything quicker. Get back on side quicker. Sprint here quicker. And then just keep your legs moving. You can't stop. If your legs stop moving, you stop. You got to keep moving. When that big bear gets on your back and you can't pick your legs up. There's times out there where, as a halfback, and you're not making 50 tackles like the boys in the middle, you can't talk. You're that rooted. And you can't pick your legs up. Your lungs are burning. Just like that. That's why dummy halves are so important at Origin, because that's the most dangerous spot to attack, and really it's the most less complicated. So that's why I always like to play with the best teams at Origin. I play with were Badiris and Wing, the yin and the yang. So
The camp before you just brought up about Coogee, and it's always been almost in Coogee over the years, the spiritual home. From a media perspective in recent years, we're there with the camera, we see Nico and a couple of boys going down to their budgie smugglers to go for a swim, and then they're getting the coffee, and then they're signing autographs or they're just chatting to people. Then we head to the training paddock, and we're only allowed to shoot, say, 10 or 15 minutes of training and then turn the cameras off, but we're all there watching. We're observing everything. So nothing is hidden. But up in the Blue Mountains now, so that's a big change from Coogee to the Blue Mountains. Madge has just done everything his way.
Last time we went up there, we did that. We rode horses.
Yeah, that's the end of that story.
Wayne Pierce, well done.
There's no, the media are allowed to go to training at the start, and then it's like, hey guys, it's not even turn the cameras around. It's like they're marched off the ground. So everything is top secret. So our sources up there, Danny Wilder, has told us today that Nico Hynes has trained, Liam Martin have trained today. That's from the players telling them that, though. They haven't seen anything beyond the warm-up.
Well, siege mentality, isn't it? Surprise attack, guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, is it?
It's happened.
And also, like, Angus Crichton also spoke this week about, because some of the boys lived in the eastern suburbs, they might duck away home or see other mates or whatever. But, like, do you have to get a balance right between too much time together and galvanising the squad?
Well, I can see the logic behind Madge taking the team and the camp up the Blue Mountains, because there's no real distractions. And as you said, you can't go to Bondi Junction, go to the movies, or duck off here, or go for a surf, or this or that. I think there's a golf course near.
Yep, there's an ice skating ring. Hopefully they don't get on that. There's a bar there has been converted to their own whiskey bar apparently, but I don't know how much that'll be used. And they've got their own cinema room that is, so it's kind of, journalists and media are staying at the same site, but it's divided as much. And players, I've been told by everyone up there, are great. Like, hey, hey to the media, but it's more divided than it's been.
Well, they've got to live in each other's pockets, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they've got to. I think the big key word nowadays is connection. They get that connection in that short period of time. All new combinations, all new players. A lot of these guys wouldn't know each other, so no distractions. They get there and get to know ins and outs of each player.
And I don't know if the phrase roomies is allowed. It might be allowed, but they're interconnecting rooms, I've been told. So I don't know if they change roomies each night. That would be something else.
Like
but that's a Madge. That's Madge wants all the players.
So say it again. It's a.
Well, Michael Chambers has put an article on the Sydney Morning Herald today, and it says there's interconnecting rooms. I guess it's ones where you can open and go, "Hey, Credo, what are you up to?" Or "Hey, Bizza." But there's no boom. There's no boom box I don't think this year. So it's a big difference.
It's a brave new world.
It is. Okay, so
I'm a bit biased because I see Coogee as our spiritual home. And it has been, even when I was a kid watching, and you'd see him in camp, and that great era of the early 90s when Laurie and Ricky and Paul Harrigan, all that gang, you'd always see him in the build-up at Coogee. And then when you got the opportunity, you're like, I'm following in their footsteps. And then, but it's a new idea, and let's see how it goes.
Okay, game plan.
Interconnecting connections.
How do the Blues, or what do what's from the team you've seen? How do you think they attack this game? What's the game plan that Madge goes with?
I think they're going to play a real power game. He's gone with 4 forwards on the bench. He's got a really strong forward pack. I think there's an advantage in New South Wales back 5 with how they bring the ball back. In particular, Dylan Edwards, then To'o. I think there may be a switch. I think Suolihi will go to wing. He brings the ball back so strong. And I think Lomax may go to centre. But they're going to play a power game, play a lot off the dummy half, and try to scrap and defend their way to victory. Game 1 is traditionally a low-scoring, tight game, and especially to core if it gets slippery. And I think we're going to get a lot of rain on Sunday. So maybe talk to the groundsman and water the pitch down, make it a real dogfight. Because I think if it's a fast, open game, we haven't got the team to outscore the Queensland team. Like if you have a look at the Queensland back 5, Reece Walsh, superstar Lightning, Xavier Coates, incredible, Val Holmes, Hemisav, and then Murray Tuolungi. We've got the power runners and the real ruggedness, but we haven't got the out and out speed and high end X factor.
That's a scary
team.
And you throw in DCE and Tommy Dearden, who is just an absolute fighter. Do the Blues have, when you look at their team,
on paper,
what they can to defend it?
On paper, we haven't got the points. If it's a point scoring shootout, we haven't got that of Queensland. But what we have ruggedness, we have toughness, and we have more. I think we have more power. They've got a really lightweight middles. Carrigan, lightweight. Ruben Cotter, 95 kilos. Unheard of in the front row. And then Lindsay Collins. Lindsay's only 102, 103. But what they have is a lot of speed, where we have Payne Haas, and then we've got the size and power of Liam Martin, Angus Crichton, Spencer off the bench. It's just styles makes fights. It's intriguing how they all play. But the huge advantage for Queensland is time spent together on the field. DCE, Hunt, Harry Grant, all those players in the key positions have played probably combined together out on the field, 30 or 40 games together, which is a massive, massive advantage.
So compare that, Dylan Edwards, 0 games. Nico Hynes,
0.
12 minutes, or whatever it might have been. Jerome Luai, 8 games. Reece Robson, 2 games.
1 or 2,
And no real standout 14.
Yeah.
Like a Harry Gant.
It's a huge advantage. Maroons have a huge advantage in that sort of area, games played together. But as Queensland have said over the years, the best team on paper doesn't always win. And this series is a time when the Maroons are red-hot favourites. Everyone expects them to win and win well. So all the pressure's on them.
And your column today was that they cannot deny that they aren't favourites this year.
They're raging hot favourites. You have a look at their team and the players who have played together. They're red-hot favourites. So we've got nothing to lose. We're going to get beat. We're the poor cousins. How it's flipped.
It's a strange world. Speaking of, I just want to paint this crystal ball potentially. So Nico is believed to have got through training. If he goes down and Mitch Moses absolutely brains it in his return against the Sharks tonight, Thursday night, Nico goes down between now and Sunday, Monday, and Mitch Moses is by far the best player on the field.
Yeah, which I think he will be. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do, given you've got Luke Keary, Matt Burton in the squad?
Well, Mitch Moses is the incumbent. Mitch Moses has got an incredible kicking game. He's got the experience there. You'd be tempted to parachute him in. Now, it's a 6-day recovery from tonight to Wednesday, but they've dragged players. They've literally dragged players out of a pub on a Monday who played on Wednesday.
Some of the great Origin stories are those late call-ups.
Geez, it'd be interesting. It'll be interesting tonight because I think Parramatta will win, and I imagine Moses will. I think he'll have a big game. But if he really shoots the lights out, because game 3 last year, him and Cody were sensational. Far out. There's some questions there. Geez, you'd have to be. Yeah, you'd be tempted, very tempted.
Well, let's hope for Nico's and the Blues' sake it doesn't get to that. We want to see him fit.
Well, exactly. We
in
need him
7.
fit, and we need him there, and we need him firing.
Billy Slater, you work alongside him here at 9.
Yep.
We know, we've heard how meticulous he was in preparation as a player, but...
Well, he's a commentator. He comes in with notes when we're commentating.
Yeah.
And I go, Billy, who's playing tonight? He looks at me. When he first started, he'd come in with notes and he'd be preparing.
So even like, we'd sit there previously and I'd be like, we're just having a quick chat, 4-minute chat to preview a game or whatever. He goes, okay, this is in the morning, that might be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He'll say, what are you going to ask me about? And I said, I haven't really thought about it. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And then bullet points.
Yeah.
And it's just like he wants the 4 or 5 points.
He's so thorough, and you can see the way he played. Even what you see outside of footy from Billy, he's got his farm and he's breeding with his horses. He's got race horses with one of my mates, and one of my mates said, mate, he's so on the money. He looks at the trials and he's timing things from the 600 when they're trialling to this and that. He said he's just so thorough in everything he does. I mean, that's his personality. He's done that as a player, now he's doing it as a coach. He does it as a commentator. It's just his personality. He's across everything. He's very, very thorough.
So given that preparation, are you surprised at how quickly he's had success in the toughest rugby league arena in the world?
No. The advantage for Billy was he came into a team which had a lot of stability in the key positions. Harry Grant, Ben Hunt, DCE, Munster, and then also a bloke at fullback didn't go too bad, Kalen Ponga. So he had that stability there, but the way he inspired his team and the way he prepared his team and the way they played, you could see that they ticked all the boxes, and that's Billy. It's hard because you can't hate Billy. You can hate the other Queenslanders, but it's very hard to hate Billy. He's such a nice bloke.
He is a nice bloke.
Yeah.
And does it scare you that Billy's in camp with a fella called Reece Walsh?
Well, I saw a photo in the paper of Billy with Reece Walsh and Ezra Mam, and he was doing this, and you could see him looking. I'm like, oh. I reckon someone else would have been doing backflips, and that was Kevin Walters going, look, this is great. But the way Billy played is he revolutionised the game. Fullback changed the way they play, pretty much Melbourne Storm and the structured way they play. But Billy is such a deep thinker, and compared to Cameron, like Cameron Smith is so laid back. He'd get the bus 20 seconds before it does. He'd get to train, he'd walk in with 5 seconds spare, where Billy would be there watching videos, watching this, watching how teams defended, when centres would rush and all that sort of stuff. It's incredible. And have a look at the way his career, have a look at what he's done outside footy, have a look at what he does as a coach, as a commentator. That's the personality of Billy.
Do you think he's the kind of coach that would say he's like, would he give notes to players in terms of study
100%.
notes for and just study this, study this?
I think with the right person, he reads people well. There's certain players you can't do that with. You just leave them alone. I can imagine Munster, he would just leave him alone. You wouldn't give Cameron, he wouldn't know what homework is, Munster. But players like DCE, I understand Reece Walsh is quite they call him the footy nerd and watches all the games, which is great to see. Harry, I reckon he'd give Harry a lot of information. I don't think Ben Hunt, I don't think you'd need with Ben, but I reckon Harry Grant and DCE and Reece Walsh he would. So hopefully he's not doing that this week. Well, Harry's crook, apparently.
That started very early for an Origin series.
Yeah, typical.
Just with game 1, how important is game 1 for the Blues, given it's the only game in Sydney and New South Wales this series?
Well, you don't really want to be going, hypothetically, lose game 1, go to Melbourne and win New South Wales. With an inexperienced team, New South Wales have got, do you want to go to Suncorp to win the series. It's always tough up there anyway. Game 1 is so important. You need to get that one hand on the trophy. And for New South Wales too, a big win, a strong win, and it gives those players who are new to that arena so much confidence.
Bring it on. Jed, is it too early to get a tip off you?
Oh, well, I'm tipping New South Wales for sure. I think they can do it. I really think they can do it. I think if they scrap for everything and just rip in defensively, the kicking game is going to be so important, because if New South Wales is winning the ruck with that power game, winning the game, the battle of field position, you cannot be handing the ball back to Queensland in not a good field position for New South Wales. They have to be picking the ball up inside their 10 so often. You can't be putting the ball dead in those attacking areas. So the kicking game, which we got Nico and Jerome, a right foot, left foot, which really helps. Dylan Edwards doesn't do too much kicking. Reece Robson, I haven't really seen Reece kick, so it's up to Jerome and Nico to nail that kicking game. The kicking game is going to be so important.
Only a few sleeps. For some.
What are we now? For some.
Not naming names.
No.
Bring it on. Thanks, Joey.
Cheers.
Hopefully Danica's teeth are all right and they're back in
And
next week.
hopefully we're all smiling on Thursday and I'm not having a cry. It's Wednesday night.
Thanks for
It's that time of year. Oh, butterflies.
anxiety levels.
Oh, tear ducts just overflowing. Come on, New South Wales, lift.
This year, NRL on 9 is your one-stop shop for all footy.
That's right, Freddie. Not about the highlights. Action. 7 days a week.
Billy and Gus podcast, get that on your drive on the way home. Immortal Behaviour, grab a seat on the couch for that. And of course, my favourite, Freddie in the Own.
The best footy brains, the biggest games.
Don't trust the algorithm, subscribe to NRL on 9 and get all your entertainment there.